It's 5:45 and time for the monthly meeting of the Katuitt Board of Water Commissioners, and Mark Robinson, Chair. With me is Commissioner Scott Horsley and Commissioner Dave Turbuck, Superintendent Chris Wiseman, Office Manager Jen Nash. And before we start tonight, I'd like to mention that it's been on my mind for a while, and of course, getting around to things, but this is a card that I would like to send from us, anybody who's interested in putting their name to it. It's a card to Fran Parks. And it says, "Dear Fran, board and staff of Katuitt Water Department, thank you for your many years of public service to our community and devotion to our beloved little village. We hope you are enjoying some well-deserved time for yourself, and know you will continue to be a strong voice for civic betterment. Thank you." So I've signed it. If anybody else would like to sign it, thank you. Great idea. And oops, if you don't want to sign it, you don't have to sign it. But I do think that the record should reflect that you know, we didn't always see eye to eye on a lot of things with Fran, but she was a good watchdog for this district and our residents. So I thought, since she retired at the annual meeting in May, I didn't know she was retiring. I would have thought of doing it then maybe. But in any case, better late than never. So
That's right.
we'll send that out. So first on our agenda is public comment. And anybody is welcome to bring items of interest to the board. We do have one item here that's intended a request for relief. But before we do that, is there any other public comment? Okay, are you Mr. Fitzgerald?
I am.
Okay, and would you like to address the board at about the Katuitt Meadows treatment?
Can I go? I am Paul Fitzgerald. I am representing, well, I live at 57 Pheasant Hill Circle, over at Katuitt Meadows. I'm representing the homeowners association there. It is an association of 124 homes, 1/3 of which are affordable homes. We have wastewater treatment, wastewater for the homes, the nearby nursing home. This July, we received notice from Katuitt Water of our outstanding bill of $8,313 for the use of 328,000 gallons of water. I am here requesting relief for the January through June bill, as well as the short subsequent increased water usage in July before we could identify the problem. Our treatment plant operator is Winston Stedman out of All Cape Environmental, and he believes that the excessive water use was a stuck valve in our trap primer. Everybody knows the function of a trap, and so they need to have water in the bottom of it in order to minimize odors. The excessive water use was undetected because there's no flooding when that happens, and you can't hear water running within the plant because it's quite a loud operation. I've just become involved with being the liaison between the operator and the association this year, so I've had to learn a lot on the fly. And so they said they call this my problem. So I even came to the April meeting here, well, actually over at the church, trying to learn about the wastewater issues within Barnstable, Katuitt, all of us. So additionally, by the time I learned, as I said, it took time to isolate the problem. And actually, one day I just went there and just shut all the water off. We're shutting it all off. Let's figure this out. Since then, as I said, what the operator told me he thought it was, we have implemented frequent water checks. I go over there once a week. We're considering the installation of a private well possibly, or if there's any electronic monitoring device you can put on a meter. I don't know that answer. That's something I have to research, where we could electronically keep an eye on it, or maybe have an alarm on. I don't know what the technology is there, but that's something I'm looking at. Our history of water use has been very low. We pay probably the minimum charge every time until this happened. There was an instance back in 21. I didn't live in the community back then, so I don't know what was going on back then. But your consideration of this request will be greatly appreciated, and want to thank you for your time and attention to this.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board before we ask for Chris's opinion?
Yeah, I know where you are. I'm just trying to look at the map. Are you within our zone 2 area? Do you know?
And we're the fund that sticks into Mashpee.
Supposed to be just outside.
No, they're built it. The ejection point. Yeah, it's okay. Oh. No.
It's right there.
This is an ad, he's coming down. Right, we don't have the ability to. This is a, yeah, it's a blue, you can see it, it's like blue. Where's the location? Their treatment plant. Oh, I see. It's over here, but it's ejected.
It's actually, it's on the border with Mashpee. The Oasis
Plant is right here.
Yeah, that's it, right there.
And they're ejecting over here, Chris. Outside of the.
They're supposed to
be ejecting, yeah, in between the two zones.
What do you got? We're over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's the next question?
That's the plan.
Where are you just driving?
Well, the leach field is, it's a ball, unused ball. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, behind the houses in the middle.
I thought you said it was outside. It was supposed to be put outside. I think these might be expanded out a little. You put a map that actually shows it. They got like football fields there, kind of like. Yeah, it's a.
Big football.
Correct, a little soccer field, you have to play on it, it's all injected out there, and it was supposed to. You think it's in that little triangle there? In the middle of the homes?
I have to.
No,
I have
that's what
to.
it is. Okay. It's ejected out.
I remember that as part
Yeah,
of.
it's at the end of the,
Yeah.
like, you go.
Somebody-
Right when you.
Correct.
Somebody actually looked at.
It's actually.
Yes, at the end.
Just outside of the zone. Okay, so it's a little off topic, the situ here.
Yes,
I would love, do you think you have a site plan that shows?
yes,
Could you send that to us?
I can send it to you electronically.
That'd be perfect, to show where the,
Yes,
just, we're trying to track this stuff.
Okay.
It'd be helpful.
yeah.
And the other question I have is, you were talking a little about irrigation, do you tell us about the irrigation system and? Are you using
That
that?
field is irrigated by our own private.
Don't private.
Yes.
What about?
The residences, some have installed their own wells because of the increase in fees.
Otherwise, I'm using our.
Otherwise,
Okay.
I'm using your. Our.
That's right. Thank you for the clarification. So those are my only questions.
What is the water, I know, that sounds stupid, but what's water used for in our wastewater treatment plant? There's water coming in from the houses, so what's
From the
the extra
houses and
water?
from the nursing. It's, that's it.
You have a little wet lab there, do testing maybe?
We have, Rhode Island Analytic
Yep.
come in on a daily basis.
They have a little sink there and they do some preliminary testing.
Well, they have, the equipment's there. I haven't actually witnessed that.
But it's not,
I've witnessed a membrane cleaning, which was,
Okay.
that was something to see.
but the clean water that we're supplying isn't used in your treatment.
Not on a regular, no, because look at our usage, our
You
usage.
mean the water goes to the homes and then it goes.
No, I know, yeah,
But well, that's what I'm getting at. Some of these wastewater groups have a little facility like a sink and a lab.
That's the water usage
I don't know what they have there.
over the years.
It's like
very
300 gallons a week.
Yeah. That's over.
We have,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Dave, you have any comments?
You mentioned an incident in 2021.
Yes.
Is that?
I don't know exactly what happened, but if you have access to this, it shows we used,
23,000.
yes, 22,000 gallons in one period. 23,000, yes, 23,000. I didn't move in until, 2020.
We have some institutional memory here. Is there a leak adjustment requested for that?
There was not.
Okay.
I'll look and see if there's.
So
any-
our policy, Paul, is that, one strike, all you get.
That's all I'm asking for. I won't be
So
responsible.
if it's on your watch and it happens again, you're out. We understand that, mistakes, accidents happen. Chris, do you have some thoughts?
The only thing, we have talked before, and he's gonna talk to Jen quite a bit. When we did our reading in, July, we noticed this leak. When we called the caretaker or the gentleman who does,
Evan.
Property
property
management.
management company. And we were told at the time that they knew something was leaking, and they're waiting for a part to fix it. And then they fixed it, and I don't think it went away, is the problem, and they thought it was this, they thought they were using water just for this one bypass that they needed. Apparently, the check valve failed that they had, and like he said, he didn't, until he found it later on afterwards, they didn't find it till, I think it was a month and a half into the new
No,
year, no?
no, not
No,
that far.
maybe just, halfway through the month. It's when I went and shut off the water.
We notified them when we did the readings at the end of June. We were told then that they were waiting for a valve to come in. They expected that on July 8th. The water usage did go down a bit after July 8th and was completely fixed by the 16th and 17th of July. So just 16 days into the new period.
That's the only history I really have on it, and we've never had anything like this before with a plant, there's only a couple of them in town.
Yeah.
So, not something that,
Okay, well, in the interest of time, would somebody like make a motion to,
Can I ask one more
Yeah.
question before you make that motion? So there's 82,000 gallons of usage in the new period as well. Will you include that 82,000 with the usage from the January to June period? And do one big adjustment?
we have your analysis of how the leak adjustment policy would be applied here.
Right, so this would be applying it to purely the January to June usage. I can recalculate with the 82,000 gallons from July.
So the 328,000, is that before the end of June?
328,000 gallons was used January to June,
Okay,
yes,
and then delay continued after June.
till the 15th of July.
So is it 328 plus 82?
Yes, the
So the-
calculation will be a little bit different because there's a minimum use and stability fee in both of those, and then we would take the excess, so it'd be 72,000 gallons plus 65 cents per thousand.
So Jen, this last page here, calculation does not include that other extra amount, does it?
Right, I didn't want to include it if you didn't want to include it.
Well, maybe we should wait a month and include it and see how it fits. Unless you can do that in your head now.
I can probably do it quickly while we're here.
Estimate for us?
Yeah, so it's gonna be another $30 for the minimum use, and it's gonna be 72,000 at 65 cents per thousand gallons. 72. 6, another $46.80 to their bill, but it would increase our amount of forgiveness.
I still appreciate it.
Yeah, so, the relief requested, Jen, let's see what you told, it was 7,906.
52.
Calculator. So I'd have to figure out what the bill is for the 82,000 at the non-adjusted rate, but their bill will be $453, and we would adjust the rest.
Okay. So is there a motion to, to adjust the bill down to a total of 450, what was it, 53?
Yeah, I would make a
Yes.
motion to apply our policy to provide the reduced bill and let Jen do the final detailed calculations.
Okay.
But I think it's, we've approximated it.
Is there a second?
I said,
Okay, just a comment, Paul, but so what I mean by this is that, if it happens again.
shame on us. Right, really?
I mean, this is,
I,
very expensive to treat water, to pump water,
I,
to monitor water. And, we can't just have it leaking out willy-nilly with no consequence. So this is what I mean by one strike.
yeah, the operation of our plant is 70% of our homeowners' fees.
Right.
It's,
Well, maybe there's a way to install a leak detection or meter on your end that might
Yeah.
be worth.
yeah,
There are devices out there that would let you know if water's running through there over an extended amount of time.
what I can do is I'll stop to visit Chris and you can point me in the right
Yeah,
direction.
I think they're called Water Sense, but yeah.
And then Tim Galvin lives in the neighborhood, I could
Yes.
ask him as
Yeah,
well.
Jim would-
Yeah,
I think he did a house on Mariner Circle with one.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to adjust the Situate Meadows water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant. For a total bill of approximately $453. Is all those in favor say aye? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
well,
If
thank
you
you
could
very
send
much.
us that plan, I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Site plan showing particularly interested in where the wastewater was discharged.
Okay,
Do you have their email here, the staff?
I'll send it to Jen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Any other public comment at this point? I'd like to take them out of orders in the agenda of the discussion. Under new business of the hydrogeological study station number 5 discussion with Tom Cambreri, who's served as a consultant to the commission on other hydro studies. And Mr. Cambreri, would you approach the bench?
Thank you.
And I'm gonna turn this over to because he's the one that brought up this idea.
Yeah, and this was basically to find what we do work. Mitigating our actual zones of contribution. And advantages, I think we just talked about well 5, but I wonder if we should do, we don't know. Yeah, it's well 5.
Yeah.
Take the same model.
Yeah, exactly. I looked at it, this morning, the project that we did in 2021. And so have a lot of information from that, a lot of the early pump test reports and that. I think, I understand, so looking at well 5, it wasn't, it was in the model domain, but I had to fine tune the model with grid sizes. And well 5 was just off that, so I've got to take the model and adjust it over for that boundary and look at also Santuit River, make sure that that's in there correctly and that is consistent with a lot of measurements that they're doing these days. So we got a lot more data actually over 40 years in that area. So, and we have a pump test report. There's a pump test that was done in 79, I think.
Yeah.
So, and then what was it called? Well, 578 or something like that. I don't know.
It didn't go into 96.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so,
So that, I don't know if there was another subsequent pump test. to
yeah, so
do
that, yeah, so there might have been at the time,
Yeah.
something put in there,
Uh-huh.
and it is right on the Mashpee border, that's the only thing, so it's gonna be pulling from that area.
So what we wanna do, is to, and for those of you who haven't been involved in this discussion before, this this blue area is what's called the zone of contribution, which is the generous land area that contributes groundwater develops. Pulling groundwater towards them. And that's, they're not circles, they're teardrops. And they extend way out into Mashpee for all of our wells except for all three, which is really more of the village. Actually, yeah, I guess it might be a little bit, tiny little bit. For well three, but well five is almost predominantly Mashpee land
Yeah,
that is contributing to the well. In addition to meadows. So,
I've gone out there in curiosity to see what's there,
yeah.
but I know that it's.
So the point is, we want to take this generalized zone final with the kind of computer law thing that is from the USGS originally from, that you adopted.
yes, it is, yeah.
And so this would be a part of our engineering budget. And you're ready to present a proposal, or if you want to come back to us with that.
Well, actually, if I may, along those lines, remind me who actually produced these two maps. Did we do this ourselves?
I think we sent them to Lou Jeans and they printed them.
No, the work.
The work. Yeah, I know that.
Time- yeah.
Did we get
I think somebody that's sitting here, actually kind of drew some of those, zone twos.
So that was 40 years old.
Well, what if-
So they haven't really fine tuned since then too much, so they've either expanded out or we don't know.
What I'm getting at is, I think we should have Tom do this work, but I would also like to get some updated boards, because these are quite useful during our meetings. And we, I don't know if we can make this part of Tom's budget so that he could also, because we don't have the in-house capability to do the plotting and the graphics and all that, but it strikes me, we could get this map, this board expanded to include well five.
These were done by GHD back in
Okay.
2018, they're 2010, updated in 2018, and they might have just updated them 2021.
Well, it should show the land use in Mashpee as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that map would be nice, I think both of them should be updated. That one doesn't show any land use in Mashpee, and it should, we should have the whole zone too. So I don't know if this is part of the same contract or not. Or whether we just do this separately, Tom can do the modeling work and produce a report like he did before. But then how do we translate that into a useful map?
Well, scale of it is almost that you need a separate thing for well five anyway.
Right,
Yeah,
Because it's too
That's
huge
true.
distance.
that's true.
And if you think well five is gonna be a zone that long, it's gonna go way up into Mashpee. So I
So,
think it should be its own map.
so how do we get that done, is my question, separate contract or?
And
I think we could fit it in the budget.
Yeah, maybe think about that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna write a proposal then, let's
Mhm.
go, maybe include that, or if you would, because I
Yeah.
think it'd be nice to get this product. You would probably write a separate map. And then, I don't know whether
maybe GHD can fix that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that was redone, since then, yeah, since,
22. I think EDR did it in 22 for us.
yeah. And I have the updated version that
Do you think we might ask GHD to update that? That would.
I could, yeah, I could ask them to update it, they have it on, file now,
Okay,
Well, it's important to have the DEP zone.
yes, yeah, absolutely. We need
Those
more.
probably haven't changed, really.
no, nothing's changed
Nothing's
since,
changed.
since the originals that we have in the file.
Yeah.
So it's just basically going on GPS and switching them over onto a, district map.
Some of us are old enough to remember that the originals were just so.
The service.
Right.
So the proposal is to have Mr. Camberary present us with a cost estimate, tasks, delivery date proposal. If we can do that for the next meeting, we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure, that'd be good.
And we'll have a winter project.
That'll be great. The winter project is.
Keep you busy.
It's a good thing to have. But, yeah, it will be an interesting,
Yeah,
project to do and, with all the information, issues that are going on there and looking at the land use in Mashpee as well, so.
Tom, you have a sense how many other towns or water departments have this information? Are we pretty unique here? Having this actual contributing area?
I don't think there's that many that look at it, to tell you the truth, other than if a town's involved with a wastewater plant or something, you
Yeah.
might be looking at these, average, capture areas, as I call them.
Right.
But, it's something that, we have advocated before, when I was at the commission, to do these types of things, because, important land use decisions have to be made, and you have to really know what the key areas are
Yeah.
besides the zone twos. And, the zone twos have a lot of, allowed uses in them, like, wastewater treatment plants. You can put a treatment plant in wastewater in a zone two. That's just with
Right.
performance standards. But you wouldn't want to put them in, one of these average, capture areas.
So we have, I don't think we need a motion. I think we've asked for Tom to come back, whether in person or just submit it to us, and we have questions, we'll
Mhm.
email or something.
Okay, that sounds good.
And this would be out of the engineering budget, is that?
Yeah, everything will come out of the, yeah. Unless he's really terrific.
We have sufficient.
Yeah, I think the budget for that,
Thank you.
that I did before was, around 7,000 for that project. So it's be somewhere in there, maybe a little less, so I'm sure I'll take a look at it.
Good, well, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to, talk to you about this project.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, we'll go back up to, water quality report, Chris.
All right, some sodium results in, folder updated, when we did our ISU samples. ISU's, excuse me, nothing organic, yeah, inorganic compounds, inorganic compounds are basically your, health, so your health risks or, they're regulated by the state and they're more of a health risk than others. Like your lead, your nitrates and stuff like that. And sodium's on that list, so when we tested there, we had some results come in, so we just added on here. We didn't do the raws or Main Street. Samples.
So it's really hard for me to see a trend here, other than we've been doing much more testing than we used to do. That's the one trend I see here.
We've been pumping a lot more water too, so you don't know if we're kind of diluting it a little bit too over the summer and everything, so. It could be a factor of all kinds of things that,
It's our lowest July levels in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
what was it?
Just looking at that previous years in July, when we tested, these are low.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Okay, well, thank you.
Can I ask a question? Chris is PFAS 6, and then unregulated amounts, and so is that, well, PFAS, that's not.
We're not talking about PFAS, we're talking about sodium.
What?
We have to wait to get the PFAS, we're doing sodium.
Oh.
Right, you gotta tell us about the PFAS. So the other thing we're next discussion.
Yeah, next we do, we just added the PFAS, results from April and here. I don't know if we had them last time we were here, so we wanted to make sure they were in. We're still below the limits there, and the unregulated, ones that don't matter to the PFAS 6.
That's your question, Tom.
Yeah, so the PFAS 6 are those 6 regulated.
Correct, yeah, that's the, yeah, and then the unregulated are the other 20.
Well,
Yeah, 21, yeah,
so those are the other ones.
correct,
Yeah, okay,
they was definitely located, yeah, down in there, yeah.
yeah.
Question. Chris, is this for April 30th? This is the most current test we did?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Right now, we have reached our state requirement by testing in April. We had talked about testing every 6 months,
Yep.
so that would be October, that would be our next test.
Yeah, so and remind me, what the MCL is it, I forget what they moved it to for the PFAS, is it
EPA 40, EPA 4, state 20.
4 and 20 or 40 and 20?
Four.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this 2.24 is relative to the 4 then? Yeah, okay, I always forget that number.
The 2.24 station fives.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, it's the combined with the 6, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I like to know what the wastewater treatment plant discharge is.
Well, we wouldn't have let that go in. We had a big, hurrah here actually when they submitted that plan originally. And they agreed to put that in.
Well, yeah, I just think-
twos. And they included the, retirement home down the street into it. To make sure that we're putting enough going in there.
Well, my feedback on both the sodium and the PFAS is I'm not really concerned with the sodium. There is a guideline for 20, but it's not an acute high health hazard thing. I'm much more interested in this PFAS stuff. So I don't know what our costs are or time sink is of the monitoring, but I might almost suggest backing off on the sodium testing a little bit and increasing the frequency on the PFAS. And along with that, I think this mapping of potential sources, we don't have any fire training academies, but we do have septic systems and a few cluster wastewater systems, and I think we just really gotta nail down where they are. So that's this 2.24 makes me a little nervous,
They only start testing at 2. So, yeah, so that's why, it's been much lower. And,
If it's less than 2, it's a non-detect.
correct,
so it's a low level.
It's, Station 5 has been non-detected until, not until last fall. That's
Trend 21, right.
So, you know,
and because it has actually tested 2 times in a row, it has been put onto the monitor that the state required monitoring, where we test all 5, we're only required to test 3 through the state, and we test all 5 when we do the testing, because
What's our cost of doing the round of PFAS tests? If you know, Chris.
I
Think there's-
believe it's 250 per station now, that's that.
4.25, I think.
Now it's going up water, okay,
420 gallons for each one,
Yeah.
yeah,
times 5.
Times 5.
yeah. And we're gonna keep doing it every 6 months is our plan for it?
Correct,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the state requirement, or that's what we're doing?
that's, you asked me to do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'd like to.
It's not a state, the state only requires, every 3 years that you do, 2 times in a year, up to the 3 years, you do it once, in April. And then next year I do it again in April, and then the following year would be April and October request.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask our resident consultant who happens to still be here, what any thoughts he might have on the monitoring frequency in this?
I think Chris has got what's required by the state, for sure. And, measuring it every 6 months is, being cautious.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so, I think it's fair amount for this, subject matter that is out there, still unresolved, lots of different, people have lots of different opinions about what's going on with this, and things are subject to change as well in the regulations, so, having the data to verify that you've went under the limits by, 3/4, for the most part, for order of magnitude is good.
So 6 months is reasonable, staying on that.
Yeah, I think it's about, yeah.
All right, I'll stick to that then.
Okay.
Can I ask that the staff, put those limits on the sheet?
Good, so the little note on the bottom.
Mr. Horza can't remember even number.
Put this, we'll put these, also put the MCL and the detection on there. That would be good.
Yeah, so the EPA is 4, and the DEP is 20.
Correct.
Is there any thought that DEP is gonna go down? Anybody talking about that?
I've not heard that, there's a lot of talk about that, there's lots of different things going on regulatorily at the federal level, of course, on this, so.
What's going on federally? The EPA might go up for 20.
That might.
Yeah.
I'm confused by that. I thought states had to be at least as strict as EPA. How is it that the state is less strict than?
They were more strict before they lowered it to 4. I remember, the state had it set at the EPA level of 20.
That's what I'm
When
wondering.
they said it. There were talks of lowering it to 4 and accepting the EPA at the time when this changed. But with the current, president out there and the way things are going right now, he's talked about eliminating it and putting it back.
I saw that.
So it's kind of just been on a standstill
Okay.
for the time being.
Yeah, the state has, I think, many different, projects with the 20 for water supplies, for Commonwealth that are changing to, gap filters and things like that, so. Everybody's got their hands full for that at this
Okay.
point, so, I think they're ready to pull the trigger for, that's my understanding at this point. I mean, it might be interesting, or maybe, to see like the PFAS 6 combat, so anyone, so it's a sum of 6, but there's, 6 combat, but it'd be interesting to see which ones are which, that are showing up, something. That might be interesting, if I'm looking at well 5, I can do that with well 5. The data is available. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else on water quality?
Yeah, just, the regular stuff, that we had, all total full call phone results for the last 2 months come back negative. We don't really have a report last month. So, since then, we've had quite a few things come in. We had our lead copper testing done. And we passed that, and it's good for another 3 years, we're going to do that for another 3 years. Thank you, Jen. A lot of work with Jen to do that. Our HK5 and our TTHMs, which are trihalomethane and allocetic acids, which are byproducts from chlorination, came back at very low levels. We had to test for chlorate, which we passed on. Chlorate is from fireworks, jet fuel, could be fertilizers. There's just a bunch of stuff out there, but we had no tests on that also. And our secondary contaminants came in, which are your unregulated contaminants that don't really cause any health risks, like your iron, your manganese, and excuse me, that are more of an aesthetic or taste odor kind of thing. And we came back, our iron was down and our manganese was up. Not tremendously, but it was kind of played off each other. And then we did do our organics also back. Fine on those.
And these are the results that will be put in the next CCI report.
Correct.
For the public.
Yes.
So just to summarize, the Katuah Water Department tests its water for lots of things very often. And, so far, the water is safe to drink, so that's important.
It meets all stages.
It meets all, that's it, I can't say it's safe.
Right.
Meets all state regulations. Okay, thank you for correcting me for the record. Anything else?
No.
Okay, so we'll ask you to provide us with your superintendent report, and I guess it covers 2 months, doesn't it?
Yes, so. Superintendent's report read on September 24th. This is for July and August. In July of 2024, we pumped 28,002,000 gallons of water. In July of 2025, we pumped 30,315,000 gallons of water, for an increase of 2,023 gallons. 23,000 gallons, excuse me. In August of 2024, we pumped 26,146,000. In August of 2025, we pumped 31,197,000 for an increase of 5,041,000 gallons of water. As you know, we're in a very drought situation, and the water has not decreased even with stuff out there, demand at least. Not much to report at all in association news. Everybody's off on fall classes. So everybody can keep their recertification. This is a recertification year, so we have to recertify our licenses for the next 2 years. And have to get so many TCHs and stuff like that. So there are a lot of classes being out there throughout the different associations. We had in the 2 months, we only had services going in August. There was 1 new service and 2 replacement services that went in. Weeks. I have a request here from our antenna company. We have a lease with our antenna company out there, and they wanted to redo the lease and add on a 100-year lease to us. We were told that we cannot, or 99 at least, it is illegal for a municipality to go into a 199-year lease. So we couldn't do it. We were told, don't. So they're kind of counteracted here, and they're extended. They have put out another one, and they want to extend the current ground lease, which has 23 years remaining, to offer a 40-year extension structured with 8 5-year options, which we currently have 5-year options on them now. They said we may have limitations on it, they understand, but would like to maintain the existing revenue share agreement, ensuring that the district continues to benefit from any additional. They said if they can get extended out, that can be more attractive to other carriers. They like to have something that's got a long lease on, and that's so they can just stay in it and don't.
What's the name of the company?
That has it now, the guy who gave it to us is SWI Tower Holdings, Funds Tower, K2 Towers. They're out of Ohio now. They bought the lease from Tower, the last company that we had. So
So they want to extend it by 40 years after the 23 years remaining expires. But they would do it in 5-year increments.
yes, and I would not send it out to our lease professional, have him look at it and give us all his yeah, sure. Whatever he wants us to do, we do. He's incredible. David McMahon, Attorney McMahon, and he's helped write the first one and made sure that we have stuff that other people don't.
How much?
About 100,000 a year or something.
It's, hold on, Jen, I can give you the actual.
We just had the budget open.
So this is the antenna that's on an acre of the our property at is it 9? Is it
It's on Main Street, and I mean, well,
440?
414.
414.
yeah,
414 Main, and where the old tower used to be, the original tower, the water tower that got taken down 10 years ago. And but the
yeah.
district has leased this acre for the cell tower to go up, and it's carrying a bunch of different companies.
There were 3 on the original tower, water tower, and they put up their water antennas. And we still get the money from the 3 companies coming in. Actually, the companies pay them and they pay us.
They lease, it's a ground lease, they lease the land. It's $50,400.90 for fiscal year 26, and there's a 3% annual escalation.
And is this consultant you mentioned, please also advise on the rates? How much we charge?
That was originally with the company that bought the lease. We had like 2 or 3 different companies come in to offer the land. to offer us a price on how much, and that's when we've negotiated with them.
And do we pay any maintenance on maintaining that tower?
No, they do that. They pay all their own maintenance, they do, all their- and they do their own plowing for it if they have to get in there.
Well, I for one have no clue whether we're charging as much as we could charge or should charge. It seems to me a little bit
I
advisory.
can talk to Rick and ask him what his thoughts are.
In other words, they're really paying for the ground.
That's all they're paying for is ground.
I mean, they paid for the tower, they paid for the maintenance, the
That's
security.
not, I imagine that's not easy to get, you want to put up a tower like that, so we have a,
Chris is saying we have an attorney that knows this stuff.
knows the rates.
He relies.
Yeah, he's the one who negotiated, anytime they have to do any work, they have to send us something and say what they're doing. And we send it over to Rick and he looks at it and says, yeah, they're just doing this, they're using the same footprint, don't worry about it.
I mean, 40 years after the next 23, that's a pretty big commitment. And, you know, it sounds like part of it is public service, right? Of getting communications into the village, that's a good thing. But I think it's,
I still have dead zones on my house and I'm within a quarter mile.
It's because Verizon's not on the tower.
well,
Yeah.
my own thought would be to get, maybe we are gonna get it, but some advice on the market and what we should be charging,
Yeah.
because
Rick
it's an
will-
opportunity.
Yeah, Rick will
Six-
advise.
60 years times $50,000 is a lot of money.
He was the one that was advising us about, that we couldn't enter into 100-year lease and that kind of thing, so he'll know what our limitations are. And I do think he'll know what the going market value is, because we may want to negotiate at the end of
Right.
that 23 years.
Negotiate the length of the
The,
price.
the rent
The rent, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
at the
Yeah,
end of the
maybe,
23 years.
maybe we're not getting as much as we should get.
Mr. Jim, Chris, you said that the tower operator said if we extend the lease, so we can get more providers on, more antennas.
He said that if we do it, it makes it,
Or
see if
track.
I can get it, put it in here,
And it makes it more attractive.
right, attractive
Yeah.
for other,
Yes.
wireless networks, people to come get onto it.
Will we get a high?
Yes, we get, any new one, if we have a structure that says we get so much more money.
Got it.
Oh, I
If
see.
if they have an antenna, any more than
Or you
three.
can get more revenue.
Right.
For each additional carrier.
Okay, oh, I see. That's a good point.
Maybe we'll attract Verizon. I won't have dead zones.
Yeah. And this
So I
5-year increments, that's like a 5-year out. So if we decide to renegotiate within
It
the.
sounds like it's on there, like an option for them. For us. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, we have 23 years remaining on it right now. We got 23 years to negotiate. Basically.
Right.
Is it, originally, was it a 30-year lease? Is that right?
I think originally it was, yes.
Interesting.
Well, let's have a report from attorney,
Yeah.
maybe next month.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Is the attorney local? Could he or she come to our meeting?
No.
Oh, good.
He's north of Boston
Yeah.
and
We just,
when he travels to Florida.
we can get a memo or something.
Okay.
Back to your water,
Zoom in.
pumping. So, despite our best efforts to have the most expensive water on Cape Cod, we're using high levels of it. We've had 7% increase in July over the last year, 19% over, I guess over the last year. So I assume that means more revenue, the district.
Well, maybe not $7,000.
Yeah.
Some of that might have went to,
Minus 7,000. But again, I think this proves to me that this inelastic demand for water when there's a drought is more
They need the
important.
water.
Is more important than what they're paying for.
Right. Point. You're suggesting we raise the rate.
No, not yet. But are you okay with your pumps first?
yes, we're doing all right.
That's
The,
You'll let us know if you're not.
I would think, I don't.
And we're gonna keep the voluntary
For the time being, yes, even though we're not required to, I don't think the state, it only runs through the summer months. But I'd like to keep it on there now, just so, you know, people maybe for the rest of the month at least and reevaluate it, in October.
Okay.
We did receive a check also for our lawsuit, PFAS lawsuit. We did give it to Ray. Dave and I actually were at country committee meeting the other night, and we mentioned it, and they're gonna, make a formal. Fund to put all that money in, so it can be used towards, PFAS, treatment later on for water department use.
Why not just put it in our stabilization fund? No.
They need a different one because our stabilization fund is earmarked for another language.
Yeah.
So they'd have to make another stabilization fund
Okay.
that's, and Ray said it wouldn't be hard to do.
Could you put in the minutes, John, the amount of that check?
Yep, so the amount of that check was $117,243.66. We also got a $4.41 interest payment on the escrow account, so our total receipts to date are $163,725.18.
And that's only 3M.
That's only 3M.
So the Detroit Water Department joined the class action suit against PFAS manufacturers, and we are the passive beneficiaries of that in terms of the settlement.
Didn't I read that there's a proposal from the administration to cut back on that and reduce liabilities? I think I did read something on that, yeah.
So we better get, well, getting's good.
Maybe.
Settlement's been reached.
We should pollute ourselves to pay, it's ridiculous.
So retirement benefits, sick time. Maybe I'll ask Dave to tell us a little bit about that, and Chris too.
Yeah, I had one other thing before we get into just to let you know that our newest employee has passed his T1
Okay,
exam. She talked about going soon for his T1.
good.
Other than that, I can get on to that was the last thing on there was the sick time.
You want to start that discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as a matter of,
Thank you for going.
yeah, as a matter of good relations, I either Zoom in or show up. And at the August 25th meeting of the Prudential Committee, the treasurer made erroneously reported to the Prudential Committee that there was some unfunded liability hanging over the district in excess of $300,000 due to accrued sick time benefits, which are laid out in our employee handbook on page 27. It states an employee who is vested in the retirement system will, on retirement or his or her estate, receive a 25% cash payment of their accumulated sick leave in hours based on their hourly rate of retirement. Ray did not discount that down to 25%. Turns out there was total liability now, unfunded liability is more in the neighborhood of $71,000. Not
He
300.
didn't think that's 25%.
Right, however, if you go through the minutes of that August 25th meeting, you can see that there's a high state of alarm on the part of the Prudential Committee over our legal risk and our liability of having some funded liability. Digging into the history of this, it appears that in the late 80s, there was an attempt, we believe that this had been on the employee handbook going back into the 80s. There was an attempt to try to normalize the district on the same policies between the fire department and the water district. That fell through the cracks after the fire department went professional from a volunteer basis. It has been in the employee handbook, as far as I can determine, as far back as 2018, if not further into the 90s.
94, yeah.
We, I believe, report on a routine basis to the treasurer, our salary expense as well as the accrued
Yeah,
sick leave.
they call it a compensated absence report.
So that's in there every year.
I send it every June 30th.
The Prudential Committee wants to know how we can set this policy without conferring with them. And they want to know if it's ever come before them or the voters of the district at an annual district meeting to approve the policy. And given that it's unfunded, whether a fund was ever created, or this has just fallen through the cracks over the years.
So it's in our handbook, it's been in our handbook, but it's never been approved by the Prudential Committee.
Right.
And they feel that it should be because it's, we're saying that, you know, it's money that the district is gonna owe employees at some point.
Well, but if I may, it sounds from what Jen just said, it's in our budget statement we give them every year. So when they approve our budget, in effect, aren't they approving that as well?
So yes, the compensated absence report, it encapsulates all of our paid time off, so vacation, sick, personnel. Right, vacation, sick and personnel. And if, let's say, I fell down and had an accident or whatever, I took all of my vacation time, all of my personal time, and all of my sick time in one calendar year, what you pay me out is really replacing my salary. But the concern is that sick time accumulates year over year. So in Chris's case, he has more than 365 sick days or hours, days and sick hours. So his liability is obviously a little bit higher. There's no way he could take all of his sick time, all of his personal time, all of his vacation time in 1 year. And in the case where, like when Sherry retired before I started, it was a planned retirement. It was budgeted for. I think the alarm was raised a little bit when Brian passed away and the board voted to pay it because he was fully vested in retirement plan and had intended to retire and was an active employee at the time that he passed. The board voted to pay out the 25% to his estate. So they're afraid that something unexpected could come up, an unexpected retirement, but all planned retirements budgeted for and voted on at an annual district meeting. But I think the concern is the policy itself. Was that policy ever approved? And the new assistant treasurer had emailed me about this week, and he's digging into the minutes that are in the basement of the fire department to see what they can see about whether it was ever.
I'll just give my opinion on this. When this was put in, I mean, I went back in minutes and, you know, went back for a while. This all came about back, started in 1989, discussing redoing the personnel policy. It got voted in, finally, on January of 1995. So it was revised in 94, they had the revision done. And I have what they said, the unused sick time, where they went and they took off the limit on the days and everything else in the minutes. The board that was there at the time voted on it, did it. I don't believe it ever went to Prudential Committee to be voted on because they felt as though they didn't have to, that they set the pay and everything that's in the bylaws, that the water commissioners set
The
compensation, I think in rate of pay and everything else for the water department. And it says so there. Ray said he saw something in our handbook that said that we have to go to Prudential Committee. I have not been able to find that. He was supposed to find it and send it to us. And I haven't been able to find anything that says that we would have to make any changes to
He
it.
thinks that's in our handbook?
Correct, and I've gone through that handbook, I can't find it. And they asked him to show it, he couldn't find it that night there. So he was looking through and said he would get something out to us, and I asked him to send that to me also, because I didn't find it.
In our employee.
Correct,
The current,
correct, and I couldn't find it in there, I mean,
can only be in a certain amount of places.
Well, it strikes me there's two questions here. One is a legal question. Do we have the right to change something like that in a handbook with or without Prudential Committee? And strike me, we might want to have our attorney deal with that one, get clarification. The second one though is the budget, the financial part of it with the financial committee. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jen, because if we had never reported to this then for since 1990, whatever, I can understand why they'd be pretty concerned. But what I'm understanding, each year since 1995, that's been submitted to them, showing how much is in there.
At least since twenty
Okay.
fourteen, I can speak to
Okay.
about that.
So there's no grounds for surprise by the financial committee that this is in our budget, because they approve it every. Is that
There's
correct?
no ground for surprise by the treasurer, whether that has been reported to the prudential committee, I don't know.
Say that again, Tony.
There's no grounds for surprise by the treasurer.
If somebody retires, I understand.
But, well, we send that compensated absence report to the treasurer's
Okay.
office.
It's not sure the.
I don't know how that's reported
see.
to the prudential committee.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. They stated at the August 25th meeting, the auditors have noted the liability in their reports, but the accounting system used by the district complicates how these obligations are formally reported. And then later, Chairman Lynch said in summary, stress the need for legal clarification. Key questions include whether the district is truly liable for these debts, whether a subsidiary board can incur them without district-wide approval, and what options exist for addressing them. Chairman Lynch and the consultant district
There's
counsel.
another meeting going on downstairs.
The committee also considered developing auditors who had previously acknowledged the liabilities in reports, but without prompting corrective measures. The commissioners emphasized from a corporate governance perspective, indefinite sick day accruals are outdated and risky, with most private sector employers abandoning them decades ago. Further complicating this, the bylaws. At the end of the bylaws is a set of amendments that have been voted at annual district meeting. In 2011, at the annual district meeting, the district adopted provisions to provide post-employment benefits liability trust fund for chapter 471 of the acts of 2008. As far as I can tell, that is for providing things like health insurance. Then, in 2018, the district adopted the Massachusetts Earned Sick Time Law. That's just general law, chapter 149, subsection 148C, which says that we are under no obligation to pay legally if we so choose.
Even though it's in the handbook?
Yeah, we can remove it.
Okay.
So we're not obligated by state law to do this.
Well, I have a question. If it's been in the handbook, I mean, this guy right here, he knows this is, he's assuming this is coming to him.
Right.
You're saying that you think we can now change the handbook to say, sorry, Chris, we were just kidding.
It would require Mark Lujo's opinion on that.
Okay.
I believe that that's not the case.
Yeah, yeah.
But, we do have the option to revise the policy, as it stands. And I would recommend that the other attorney and say, we've updated this as of 2023. If we make any modifications to this section, such as discontinuing it, what is the proper legal way to do that? And what are our liabilities?
Yeah.
God forbid, if Chris passed away tomorrow, according to Greg Barone, we have 2 weeks to pay his estate as liability.
The 25%.
And that, I believe, is around $51,000 at the.
Correct. Yeah, it's,
But you no longer be paying his salary.
right. In Brian's situation, we took that out of his remaining salary.
Right, you would no
It
longer
was
be
paid
paying
out,
his salary.
half the money there. I was have to drop dead in the last 3 months, like,
Right,
for that to be, or the last 2 months and 38 was not to have the money in the
for it to
budget.
be an unfunded policy.
So, by contrast, the fire department, under the fire department's contract, employees may carry forward up to 10 sick days per year, but the days are not cumulative beyond that limit.
I believe their contract, I was looking today, again, and I talked to one of the captains over there, and they said that they do have a cap of 200 days on their, sick time. But they have, I believe, a 14-hour day. He couldn't tell me whether it was an 8, 10, or 14, because they have different shifts. So somebody would have to say how many hours that would be, you know, to them, 50 days of pay at, you know, the current rate of pay that they have, at maybe 2,800 hours, would be anywhere from 16 to 2,800. And
So we have,
I don't know what their liability is over there, so they have to carry liability for that then too, if that's the case. If your employee that's been there over 10 years over there, they'd have to make this fund big enough to carry that also.
I don't remember you actually signed contracts with the staff.
We, they have to sign acceptance of the employee handbook. We're not contracted, but they do have to sign acceptance of that. And there is a bylaw that says the Board of Water Commissioners approves all contracts for the water department. What does it say? It says the Prudential Committee approves all contracts except for the water department.
Oh,
Depends on
man.
the plan.
Dave, thank you, Dave, for doing a little research.
What a good research.
Yeah, I would say, unless Dave wants to take this one himself, I think it sounds to me we need some help from our attorney to sort through some of this.
But do we have the right question? Because sometimes we give things to the attorney and it's so open-ended, we get an answer that's not really useful because we need to narrow.
Sounds like Dave's got
Whatever our questions are. Can you frame the
So
questions?
there's two questions. One gets asked in partnership with the Prudential Committee, which is, what is our legal liability and our options for the unfunded liability?
Just related to sick,
For the next 8 months.
is it just sick time or is it all PTO?
Just sick time,
Just sick
not accrued vacation.
Yes, sick vacation and personal time would be absorbed by the budget anyways, because if I take tomorrow off, I'm already getting paid for it.
And the liability for the sick time is you have to be fully vested in the retirement plan and you have to retire. If you just leave, go to another job, not retire, you don't have that.
So, all right, I put up a list of questions.
Okay.
When and why did the policy go into effect? Do the minutes of the Board of Water Commissioners exist from that date, which would reveal the intention to report the time to the treasurer? Second question, was the liability ever funded in the past, and if so, in what vehicle? Is there a fund out there we didn't know about? 3, why has this liability been allowed to go unfunded and ignored by the auditors until now? If they've been raising the flag, why do we just want to bet about it?
It's a new auditor.
4, what is now reported to the treasurer monthly, quarterly, or annually related to accumulated sick and vacation?
So that's what Jen's report.
Gentlemen. 5, what shall
Well,
we?
on that, I think you should name this title of her report.
Compensated absence report.
This is, we added a liability. This is what Jen says, sends to them without,
That fourth column has not been on it.
right, that last column is not, he was sent, so the first 3 columns.
So apparently this is what the auditors saw without the far right column, and this is why Ray said, we're in the hole 318 grand. When you total this out, it's more like 70 something.
Okay.
All right. 5th question, what shall the Board of Water Commissioners do to fund this liability over the next 8 months before it can propose a warrant item for the shortfall of the next annual district meeting? And what do we do if the voters reject that? 7, we should consult with Mark Boudreau in partnership with we should consult with Mark Boudreau or the attorney that reviewed the employee handbook for 2023.
That was Warren Ruthven.
Michael Pierce.
Was it
Mike Pierce was the one
Michael
who did
Pierce?
it.
We're in Rutherford Road.
Why was he brought up to do that rather than us as well?
Because Mark doesn't specialize in employment law,
Okay.
so he
Well, that's
refers
a
us
good
to Michael
question.
Pierce, so that was.
So we should consult with Michael Pierce to determine the legality of revising the employee handbook, to modify the policy, and to clarify our legal obligation to honor the policy of the past. And then finally, going forward, how will we, the Board of Commissioners, manage employee policy and inform the Prudential Committee of any employee policies that will have an impact on fire district finance? That's the can of worms that this is over.
So can we put that in the form of a memo to the Prudential Committee and tell them what we're doing and the questions we're trying to figure this out with them?
Yeah,
And I would include all these old minutes that Chris has collected and you've collected.
that would be a great help. At the August 25th meeting of the Prudential Committee, they intended to invite us in writing to attend Monday's meeting. They didn't, but Chris and I both knew it was gonna come up, so we showed up anyway.
Good.
But we probably should meet as a body with them, at their next meeting.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, do our homework on them and find out.
Well, we might not have all the information we need for their next meeting, but certainly the month after
I
that.
think if we let them know, I'll give you the memo.
Yeah.
And
Let them know-
let them know we're working on it.
Yeah,
And
we're
we
not
understand.
ignoring them.
I'll draft that document
Yeah,
and I'll share it with you, and when I get your approval, we'll send it off and we'll request a sit down.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then do we need their approval or to hire which attorney? Or?
We have a legal budget.
Yeah, we don't need their
Okay.
approval first, we can do that.
So if I can get Attorney Pierce's contact information,
Yeah.
give me that.
Maybe, call him and tell him this is coming and is he willing to work on it with us,
Yes.
so we can tell the Prudential Committee that he is
Right, Cable and will.
pledged to work with us.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, that's really
Yes,
complicated.
sure, no,
Very complicated.
I was like eating my dinner on Zoom and all of a sudden I dropped that bomb.
Has he seen this revised sheet?
Yes, and we shared this information with them on Monday.
Yes, he's seen it, but he didn't take it from.
I did, I left this with
He refused it at first, he kept saying no, I said, well, there's a liability, he's like, no, that doesn't have, it," because he thought I had the one without the column. Finally, I said, no, there's another column added here, and he's like, oh, okay, you know.
And this asterisk is because it's the 25% that's.
Right.
Correct.
I
And,
think you should add that verbatim down here.
Just so that clear.
And
Can you
like
do that,
the newest employee on there was not,
Keegan?
would not, like his portion of that total, if I totaled that column. The newest employee's portion wouldn't even be included in that till he's been.
he's still doesn't have 10, yeah, it's not been a year in.
Not that, I mean, it's very marginal now, but.
And this is only for people who are in 10 years? Matt?
That liability,
Unless-
the policy only affects the 25% buyback, someone who has had 10 years.
Has Matt,
Yes, all of.
Matt, JR, and Jen, and I have.
they've been here 10 years, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Time flies.
Yeah.
We've been here.
How long have I been here? Okay, so we've got a plan of action.
Look for a memo. I'll get that.
Dave's gonna make a memo with his questions, so. The three of you are gonna collect all these minutes and show them that we're digging into it.
Yeah.
Jen's gonna add something to this page that reflects 25% bylaw excerpts. And, we might put an asterisk there, Jen, about this double asterisk about the new hire, not relevant. Just so that they understand that and it's like the 10-year rule as well. I think
Yep.
that's important. Okay, thank you. That was important stuff, but we don't want to be the ward of the district. But it's good to know that they have this information if they choose not to look at it regularly. That's not on us.
And
The hard thing with municipal accounting is, there's a difference between a liability accrual that you would have in a private firm versus a fund that you have in municipal, because everything is on a cash basis in municipal, and it's hard to.
and that's what he possibly was talking about, is establishing a stabilization fund to be able to back this up in case anything ever happened as a safety net. That's
It
what
should be.
Ray and they were talking about.
In the interest of time, going through old business. And just quickly say, I've heard nothing new on the conservation restriction. Dave, you have anything new on the enabling legislation?
Monday, it moved out of the committee, a third reading in the House to the Senate Committee on the Rules.
So it may actually pass this
It's
year.
just bopping around.
It's bopping around, but it's out of the House, it's in the Senate,
It's not buried anywhere, that's good.
it's engrossed. It doesn't want to
Probably one of the-
explain the verb engrossed to me,
Probably one of those things that's gonna get voted and nobody's really gonna notice or care. It's like, let's just move on.
The recap of the wastewater management meeting, we were all there. Speaks for itself. Action items, I don't know what the action.
Oh, the
items
only
are.
outstanding action item is, you remember I had a proposal from GHT to do that evaluation of the cluster system. And I think it was Dave's good suggestion that we should vet this, just not that proposal, but just the whole wastewater. I didn't hear a lot of sort of direction in that meeting but I guess that's the only outstanding question, is whether or not we want to get that proposal from GHT or not.
I had a massive tooth that night.
Literally or figuratively?
Literally. I'm always happy to excuse myself. My takeaway was, don't upgrade your septic system, don't do anything, the town's going.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. May not be in our lifetimes, but.
Yeah, but the town's going.
The cluster system, Scott, would be similar to what Katuah Meadows has.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm comfortable with the town
Let's-
coming if they really come.
Yeah, let's defer this, it's a big topic, but.
So let's defer.
I think that the minutes should reflect the fact that the Water Commission, sponsored this with the Civic Association and, was well attended, I thought.
Yep.
Something that's not real, sexy, but very important.
And I don't thank you letters.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
Anything important on source water protection, Scott?
No, we'll defer that.
Defer that. So we've done geological study, the name list approval, we have that in our packets here. We need to vote on that. And are there any ones that you want to point out?
So very quickly with that, we started with 41 accounts, with over $14,000 in past due balances that were more than 365 days past due. We collected 27 accounts, more than half, $7,428.67, leaving us with 14 remaining, $7,303.12.
Well, there's the other thing here,
Yes, it is.
biggest one.
It is.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the lien list? And it goes from here to the town?
So move.
Next.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the lien list dated September 24th, 2025. All those in favor say aye.
And it requires all three of your signatures.
Signature and title.
I can fill the title in at the end.
Another leak adjustment request, or is that the one?
It is another legal
Oh.
adjustment request.
What's in the packet there?
It is in the packet. Yeah. So the
The only question I have, this is, it says faulty system, what kind of faulty system? It's not a faulty.
We'll do
irrigation
the
system.
invoice to see, yes, it is an irrigation system.
It is. Okay.
So Ms. Rogie, had an occurrence, and we actually think this occurrence started in the July to December period of 23, because the usage had escalated in that period from normal, but she thought maybe she had just irrigated more than the year before. And then the bill came for the January to June period, and she's like, "Oh, that's high," but she did pay that bill in full, and she is not contesting that bill. And then we get to the July to December 2024 bill, where you can see that the usage is very abnormal for her. She did have, obviously the system was shut down at the time, so it took some. We had to wait till the spring till the system was turned back on in order to do the investigating. And they did find water moving past the valves and a fracture in the manifold on the mainline side of the system. The repair was made by her irrigation company, Barnstable Irrigation Management. And we have read and reread and know that the usage has returned to normal. So just like with the calculation for the homeowners association, she is only seeking request for that July to December period, not for any other. So the calculation is there on the back, requesting relief in the amount of $3,344.40.
This is the first timer.
First timer, she has paid all other bills, and the only other thing that I would point out is that Chris and I discussed which usage to use, and recognizing that this leak likely started in the January to June 24 period. We decided it was appropriate to use the prior period, the July to December 23, as it was most relevant to this.
Well, I would move we do again, approve it, but, the warning about strike one, we put that in clear, really in writing, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I tell them when they ask me
Okay.
about it.
And I move we approve it.
Quick question for a second. Where would you go for policy doesn't call out irrigation leaks as a disqualification?
It says something about.
There is a new revision.
Yeah.
That says, that they must prove that their system is maintained.
Okay. Then I said,
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments? I just say, something that's important for me is that people are acting expeditiously to fix things, and if they are, I'm gonna give them some benefit of the doubt. Any one of us can have a leaky pipe that's, thumbing your nose at fixing it, that would hurt me.
Right,
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, it's unanimous.
thank you.
So again, in the interest of time, I wanted to bring up, I'm curious, I have needs for information. I've been here a long time and I don't have a good grasp on our water mains and how they work. We're not gonna talk about it tonight, but I think what I'd like to do is to ask the commissioners to help me brainstorm questions that you have as lay people about the pipes. And, there's simple things to me like, are there really some that go back into the 1930s? Don't answer the question. What are the materials? Do we need to come up with a schedule or budgeted for this stuff?
So, yeah, I'll just quickly say, I think this is a good idea. I thought about the same thing, because the pipes historically have been one of the significant sources of contamination. And, we're learning stuff all the time, so, what I'd love to see, Chris, is map, and maybe we can, I don't know how you do it, of what the different pipes are and where they are, that would just.
We have a map
Yeah,
of where
yeah,
we have a map of where the system goes. I think it has the diameters, doesn't it?
Does it show the different types of pipes?
Doesn't tell, no, it's, that's a little tougher to decide. I can tell you that there's cast iron and there's Dr. Lyon, very little PVC, and very, very little, AC pipe.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna test his institutional memory. He put in a lot of these pipes. And so at our next meeting, we will present the questions. And then we'll give him a nice bit of winter project, and maybe it doesn't take as long as we think, but I think these questions are gonna be important to talk about, not just history, but replacement schedules, I think we need to start budgeting long term, but I don't think we put that too much in our capital.
Assuming in the capital plan.
I'll just mention that in Wellfleet recently, this came up at a select board meeting.
They don't have any hopes of-
They're thinking about putting in a townwide sewer. Somebody asked, "Well, are we putting a whole bunch of PVC in the ground?" The European Commission is moving towards making the use of PVC illegal
Wow.
in water systems. So the US is,
Even waste-
the US is responsible, no, we make too much money selling it, we're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
But there are some questions out there, and it might be nice to,
All right, so
Yeah.
Chris, I don't want you to respond right now because it's too big a topic and we want to go home.
yeah.
I just wanted to broach it so that you know that this is, and this is not a, we're not. Just fun information, just because we're ignorant water commissioners.
I will send the two issues together, and I will see what I can do.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Chairman, I'd like to.
Oh, we have to do
approve
minutes.
the minutes.
Been moved to second to approve the minutes of
7:30.
July 30th, 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or 23rd. I have 30 here.
Yeah, it does say 30, but it's not, right, it's 23rd.
Oh, yeah,
I'll fix the front page of this.
says 30th twice on it.
On the second line there it says 30.
Was that the third?
I don't think so.
The July meeting was on the 18th. I had.
What is wrong with that office manager? No, July 18th was a Friday. We certainly didn't do that. Yes, we did meet on the 30th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, to move second to approve. July 30th minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous. I will sign that. And is there a motion to adjourn?
No, next meeting.
Next one.
Any other public comments? The next meeting will be typically the third Wednesday.
And I will just mention, I'm trying to schedule about a 10-day trip in October, and I haven't been able to nail it down, it's out of my hands, so. That's fine, the 15th, but my question is, if necessary, I can't remember, are we still doing remote hookup potentially?
We are doing.
So I could do that if
Yeah,
I need to, okay.
if you can
So the
hear
15th
us,
is fine.
yes.
And, we'll talk, I will be gone the first week of October. So if there's any problems with Jennifer, she would have one of my confidence in, seeing,
And your pleasure.
help. All my confidence.
It's now 7:14, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Unanimous, the motion is approved and we are adjourned at 7:14.
Good job,